It is Monday, December 8th. We are just moments away from it being 4 p.m. And the Carolina Panthers are tied atop the division. I know. If it startled you, I should have told you to take a seat before I gave you that news. They are tied atop the NFC South. It's December 8th. And the Carolina Panthers completely and totally control their playoff fate.
Won the bye week. That's big. They
won the bye week in one specific way. Shout out to the New Orleans Saints. Shout out to the Saints.
Who dat?
The reason is obvious, right? They beat the Bucs, which does kind of negate the awful Panthers loss to the Saints earlier this year. Right now, the Saints have gotten to meet each once. As long as the Panthers take advantage and take care of business against the Saints in their next matchup, and then take care of business against the Bucs, they go to the playoffs.
Well, you need the Falcons to give you a little help here on a short week.
I don't believe you do. If
you clinch. I guess you're saying both games.
Yeah.
No, because if the Falcons beat the Bucs this week and the Panthers beat the Saints, then they could clinch next week against the Buccaneers with the home game as well. Now, I'm not anticipating that, but look, the Saints just went in there and won. Who's to say Atlanta couldn't do the same thing?
It is. We got some Omarion Hampton news coming across for UNC fans. I'll tell you this quickly. He has been activated off of injured reserve. He had to be activated for tonight's game by 4 p.m. So they did that for the Chargers. Former UNC running back Omarion Hampton, I would assume moments before they absolutely had to. So that's a little update for Tar Heel fans there. That according to Adam Schefter. Going back to the Panthers, though. Let's hear from Dave Canales on what it was like to win the bye week. Here he is talking about how emotionally invested he was watching his division brethren, the Saints and Bucs, play.
I was watching the game, wanted to make sure that I was connected to the story of it. I got to be honest, I got a little emotionally involved in the game, at times. And, it's something I try to, remind our players is like, hey, watch these games. Let's try not to get too, emotionally connected. But how can you not? It impacts all of us in this division. And certainly it impacts us going into this week with another division opponent.
I give him a lot of credit for saying he got emotionally invested because, he's usually a coach speak guy and, you would normally get, I watched, but I was just trying to get better. And, those are two great programs and really trying hard. And we know what we're up against. And we got to focus on it. No, he's like, no, I was watching and I knew what was at stake. Tyler Shuck, hey, find a way, right? The Saints, I almost said young quarterback, inexperienced quarterback, not that young. With that win by the Saints, the stakes raise for Carolina. With that win by the Saints, there is now more on the line. You control your destiny, right? Every coach will tell you control what you can control, which is why I think most coaches get coach speaky when they talk about watching other games that impact them. Because really all you can worry about is let's win the games on our schedule and let the chips fall where they may elsewhere. You don't have to worry about the chips elsewhere now. You beat the Saints, you beat the Bucs twice, you're good. Nobody can argue with you, you're in. Now, if there's a concern, here it is. This is the situation they have struggled with this year. When they get into these games matter. Oh my goodness, this is the most important game in X amount of years. That's when they've struggled. Right? They get the win against Green Bay. Well, then they lay the stinker against New Orleans. They get the 448-yard passing, this changes everything win over Atlanta. They lay the stinker against San Fran. And then they have this changes everything win against the Rams. That is the one that felt different to me. They stared down Matt Stafford, who, by the way, looked great again this week, and Puka Nacua and that whole squad, and beat them. Then hit a bye and won the bye as far as, the Saints getting the win and their standing in the division improving. Now they're going into the last 4 games with all of the heightened stakes that I just talked about. And that has not been a recipe for success for the Panthers this year. The recipe has been, when the stakes get up, they lay the stinker. So this is where, and I talk about this, being a coach is what we think of being a coach, right? The whistle, conditioning, calling plays. A lot of ways you got to be a therapist too, right? A lot of ways you got to be a psychologist too. You got to get your team in the right vibe. Whatever you did going into the Saints game, whatever you did going into the Monday Nighter against the Niners, whatever you did coming out of those other 2 big wins didn't work. Now, maybe the players can, you got to know your team. Maybe the players are like, no, we figured it out. We did something wrong. We'll go out and do better. That would be lovely, but it's on Canales. It's on the coordinators. It's on the leaders to make sure this team is ready. Canales spoke about kind of that idea on elevating every week to what he called championship moments. This is what he had to say.
It is why we talk that way. We try to heighten every opportunity, because whether you're going to have to win games on the road, you're going to have to win at home, you're going to have to win in the elements, you're going to have to win with crowd noise. There's all these elements in every game that really does present championship moments, and we're going to go down to New Orleans, and that place can be really loud, and a team that played really good football against a really good team in the Bucs just yesterday, and so it's easy for me to sell it, in these types of situations, especially knowing what's in front of us. And so, but the way we do it is we take one opponent at a time. The goal is 1-0 with a chance to win the division. It's right here in front of us.
Rising to the championship moments. It would be dramatic overly dramatic if it weren't true. I mean, if you consider a division win as a division championship, they got 3 division championship moments coming up. They have 3 opportunities to stamp the NFC South as the Carolina Panthers. Now, I mean, you don't want to put too much pressure. Maybe that's what they weren't doing well, but it's a fact.
It's kind of the flip side of, it's a good result for the standings for the Saints to go into Tampa and win, but it shows how good of football they've been playing recently, at least in terms of the Saints. Like, it's not like they've been one of the best teams in the NFL, but they've been playing a lot better recently. And Bryce Young particularly, but the Panthers as a whole as well, not really played great at the Superdome over the last 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years, basically since the beginning of the Tepper era. And basically going back to that last playoff game where it was Cam Newton going in there and they were unable to get the win. So, no matter where they are in the standings, I mean, it's shown from the first time they played the Saints. Like, you cannot overlook this game. They have to have a good week of practice. They can't have another debacle like the last game where guys were coming out after and saying, well, the focus wasn't there in practice and everyone was kind of messing around and the vibe was off in the locker room. Got to be locked in, got to be prepared and ready to go. Because every game, you got 4 games left here. Every one of them is crucial in potentially getting into the playoffs and maybe even having a home playoff game. It's crazy that we're talking about that on December 8th right now. But the Panthers very, very well may have a home playoff game if they can play their best football these last 4 games.
The irony of it is the Saints are actually they look okay. The Bucs have not looked that great, and if you had asked me a couple weeks ago, which I would have flipped those two. But you're right; they do have to eradicate some demons against the Saints. Maybe do they go full Kyrie? Do they bring the sage?
Yes.
The incense? Go walk around the field and eradicate those demons? Maybe. But I'm gonna set myself up here, right? I want to make sure that we can talk about this game accurately throughout the week and next week in reaction. The goal of this season for me, for the Carolina Panthers, was to have the games after the bye week matter. Right? We knew the schedule. We knew where the division favorite was. We knew, right, the 2 Bucs games were both after. We knew that they had the super late bye. We knew. And my goal, and you can go find it, right? We have the receipts and go look up in the YouTube and all those things. I wanted the games after the bye week to matter. They do. Like, I don't care if they go out there and lay the biggest egg you've ever seen. They matter, right? So whether they thrive, whether they figure out how to play in those championship moments, maybe we watch, right, it's the holiday season, right, the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day. Maybe we'll see Bryce Young's leadership and clutch grow 3 sizes that day, and then the meaningful games and all of that. Maybe we'll see that. Maybe they'll stink. Maybe they like we've seen both versions of the Panthers this year.
We certainly need to, keep our expectations in check. There's a very good chance that they go and lay an egg. I'm not saying that that's the likely scenario. I'm not saying either one is a likely scenario. I really don't know. I'm hoping that they have reached the point in this kind of build for Dave Canales and everybody kind of coming into their own, and the way that they beat the Rams a couple weeks ago has given them the confidence to be able to come out and play as well as we know they can, so we don't see that performance again like we saw in the first Saints game.
But either way, the lessons learned over the next month will help you. If they go into the postseason, I like, even if they have the home playoff game, I'm still not betting on them to win the Super Bowl, right? I'll be hoping, right, because that'd be awesome. It'd be electric. But I don't think this is a true contending team. I think this is a team that could learn, could gain experience, could gain confidence, could build culture, could do all of that. Absolutely all of that. And then add a few players at positions of need over the offseason, hopefully draft well again, and go into next year better off. But as I've said a few times, the first mission of this season has already been accomplished. Make the games after the bye week matter. Because last year they went on this nice little run at the end of the year, but it was completely immaterial, right? It was completely irrelevant. They were
like 1-7 before they really started turning it on.
Exactly. You were playing for pride, which is great, but it's not the same as playing for playoffs, which is what they're going to be doing now, whether win, lose, or draw.